Hello, everybody. You're muted, so you won't be able to hear me. Or I won't be able to hear you. I can see that you're muted. We'll get started real soon. Just get some things together. We're a little bit early. I just want to make sure you can see my screen. If you guys that are in the webinar right now, if you could just go in the chat and let me know if you can see my screen. You should see something that says 7 steps to maximizing profit, the secret you must know. Okay, good. Thank you, Mark. 2 o'clock, like to get started on time. We have a whole bunch of people registered. Brittany's, we've got a double announcement. We had let me turn this back on for video so you guys can see me. So, hi everybody. We had, I switched the platform over to Zoom at the last minute, and so there's going to be some people over on the other platform just because some of the announcements went off. I realized I switched it and didn't change over the text message. Yay. So that's what happens when you do things last minute. Warning, whenever you're doing communication to your clients or to folks who are interested in consuming your information, you're going to screw something up when you do it last minute. It always happens. Other thing, housekeeping, this is supposed to have been an interview with Blaine and myself. For those of you who tend to be of the praying kind, like myself, Blaine and his wife Beth could use your prayers. His wife was just taken to the emergency room, and last minute text from him, so he's not going to be with us. So this isn't going to be an interview with the expert. It'll just be the expert today. I will be the expert. But I am certainly keeping Blaine and Beth in our prayers. So anybody that's your thing, by all means, please, if you know him, if you're a client and you know who Blaine is, you know how near and dear he is to us. If you're new to our world and you don't know who Blaine is, that's okay. Just know that he's struggling with some personal stuff today with health issues, and that's always tough when it's your bride. So we're going to get started. We're at 2:02. It looks like we've brought a bunch of other people over. Got about 7 or 8 people. Yeah, there we go. It keeps going up. I'm sure Brittany's going to keep forwarding them over as they come on. We're going to go live, so let's do this. It sounds like you can hear me okay because you were able to tell me that the screen is going. I've got my video going. You're muted, and that's just so we can keep the background noise to a minimum. It's not that I don't want to hear from you. I'll open up to questions later, and I think we'll just go ahead and do that in the chat. And I'll answer the questions as you go. And so today we're talking about the 7 steps to maximizing profit, the secrets you must know to avoid the cash crunch and put money in the bank today, right? So that's what we're attempting to do. I'm going to try to show you something that's happening real time in the thoughts and minds of the world that we live in. And again, this was originally designed as an interview with Blaine and myself, and so I had some points in here where I asked Blaine some questions, so I may very well go ahead and ask you folks some questions, and you can answer them, and they can be rhetorical too. It's no big deal, but you know, you want to go ahead and feedback through the chat feature. The chat can be found down on your control bar on Zoom, usually on the More section. I think the shortcut is Alt-H if you don't know where the chat button is, but you can go into the More section and go to the chat button. And then if you have a question or you really want to ask something, you don't want to go in the chat and you want to raise your hand, you always have the opportunity in the participants area. I believe you can go ahead and you can raise your hand and I can take a look at it that way. So without further ado, let's keep going. So again, I'm Richard James, and today we're going to work on how to get you some cash in the bank today. That's my goal. And so let's talk about it again. For those of you that are just joining us, this was going to be an interview. Blaine got called away on a family emergency. So rather than being an interview, it's going to be just the expert. So some of the slides may have questions on them as if Blaine was asking me a question. So I'm going to sit in two roles today. So if it feels a little awkward or clunky, just, you know why, right? It's because there's nobody asking these questions. I'm going to be asking them of myself. So here we go. On today's call, I promise that you're going to discover a couple of things, three things to be, in fact. I'm going to show you the 7 proven techniques for putting more cash in the bank today than you've ever thought possible. A lot of attorneys I work with that I meet for the very first time struggle with being profitable, struggle with making cash in the bank, and I'm going to teach you the strategies today that I used when I built the law firm with my own 2 hands, and then we're going to 7 of them to be exact. So we're going to go through 7 not strategies but techniques. So I'm kind of giving you micro techniques that you can use, and then there's one thing that your competition doesn't do that if you do it, you can be a hero to your clients. And we're going to talk about that, and that's the second promise I make. We're gonna go into that and what that is today. And then 3, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide to avoid the dreaded cash flow crunch. Again, most what I hear from new attorneys who come to our world for the first time is that they're struggling with income at some level. They want to make more, or they don't have enough, or they don't have any. And developing a system for that is vital. And so that's what we're covering today. And the open Q&A is going to be at the end. So at the end, we'll go through this step at a time. So let's keep moving forward. So who's going to benefit most from this webcast? Well, first of all, I've decided in 2018 that I'm going to put more of myself out there. You know, what I used to believe, it's a funny story. For years, I believed that the information that I had was really the gold, and I'd learned these secrets that I could share with you attorneys, and you could, make the most out of them. And I still believe that to be true, but I don't believe it's enough anymore. I've now witnessed what it's like for attorneys to work in peer groups. And so I've made a decision and a commitment to put myself out there to really share the information and not look at it as you're going to pay for the information. I'm really looking at, in our world, is when people become clients of ours, in addition to the information, they're really paying for a membership to be in a community, which is something that's unique to law. And we found that to work. And so I've decided to put myself out there in 2018 and share more of my information with the attorney world at large. And we'll continue to drive more traffic to these webinars that I'll do every month. I'm going to try to do one every month for everybody. And I'm going to cover the really important topics and the things that you need to know about. But the people that will benefit from this the most, this specific one, is there are really 3 types of attorneys that I come across, and that's whether you're in my client world right now, or you're a member of our programs, or you're a guest here.